think we got a bit more of a controversial discussion to talk about next. If I had to take a guess.
All right, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer here. Do not listen to anything Derek says.
Whoa!
For the next 10 minutes.
All right, so let me introduce it then. I can't let Derek introduce this if we aren't going to listen to him.
Architects have put out their newest album, The Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit.
Wait, what was that? I didn't hear your transition. I'm supposed to not listen to him?
Justin, I know you're the one that's behind the paywall. Is
No,
Derek back there?
we're putting Derek behind it now.
Nobody would pay to hear what I have to say about this garbage, bro.
Well, I guess if you're going to start
shit, but I'm on his side on this one.
I guess if you're going to start with that, Derek, take it away. Jacob, you got the back half.
I'm gonna get my thoughts out of the way because I don't want to like spend all my time shitting on it because like I haven't made it any secret that I really don't like this. And what I think it is that I got bored about 4 songs in and started yawning. And I haven't done that in a while. I think maybe Fame on Fire might have been the last time I did it, to be honest. And I know Jacob's like, he's malding in his chair. He's like, you cannot just compare it to Fame on Fire.
I did that to a certain album that released in September that you guys really enjoyed. So, you know, it's fair.
Yeah, it happens. So here's where I'm at. Is I'm not an Architects fan. I really enjoyed For Those That Wish to Exist. It was my album of the year last year for ages. Still made my top 15. And I wasn't really a fan of anything prior to that, but I could definitely appreciate Architects as a cornerstone of the metalcore scene that everybody wanted to sound like. I mean, All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us and Holy Hell, bands have been and still are ripping off the guitar from those albums, and I'm not a huge fan, honestly, and it almost feels like a crime to say, of Sam Carter's vocals, which is like weird. I don't know why I liked For Those That Wish to Exist so much. Remains an anomaly. So then you get to this, which it's fine, but it doesn't make sense. And I've seen it floating around that these were potentially B-sides from For Those That Wish to Exist, which were then kind of fleshed out and made into, fuck it, let's make an album out of them. And to me, that's really what it feels like, that I listen to this and not only do I not get it, but I'm actively not having a good time. To me, this doesn't sound like Architects. This sounds hollow and uninspired and disjointed, and I don't get it. I think Be Very Afraid is a good closer and Deep Fake works as an opener, I guess. Honestly, and Jacob, you're going to be mad, but I'm not saying this to piss you off, I promise. I think my least favorite song on here is Spit the Bone. And it's just because the bleh feels lame to me. It's a lame-ass bleh.
No, it feels...
It's corny. Spit the bone. Bet. Like,
Exactly. It's awesome.
It's fucking terrible.
It's awesome.
Maybe
it's
if it
awesome.
had Raw or Black.
You know what I'm gonna hate though, because the people at shows are gonna be dicks, and they're actually gonna spit, and it's gonna be like,
oh, ew. Yeah. So,
yeah,
that's. I think that any of these, you know how bands, Dance Gavin Dance comes to mind for me because, like, obviously. The in-between albums, they'll drop a single or two just because they can. I think that some of these would have worked really well as that type of release. I think that as something that's, or even if they made this in an EP, and it could be an 11-song, 42-minute EP, I don't care. If they're B-sides from For Those That Wish to Exist. To me, I don't think that there's any clear message here. I think that this is the weakest that Architects have ever sounded lyrically. Other bands want to write Architects albums. This is Architects giving us an album that sounds like so many other bands. And I don't think they pull it off well. I think the focus is too much on Sam Carter's vocals here. You can't hear the instruments distinctly half the time, at least for me. And then even then, his vocals are too overproduced and too pronounced. And as somebody, again, like I don't like his vocals all that much. So I'm looking at this like, damn, I listened to this. It came and went. I think that this is probably the worst Architects album in their entire discography, and I will never be revisiting a single song from this. He's panting, bro. Someone let him out of his cage. What the fuck?
Justin, let him out.
No, it's my turn. It's my turn.
Yo,
it's my turn. All right. This. I feel like you're gonna be a little bit surprised by what I'm gonna say, but this is definitely a step down from For Those Who Wish to Exist. I will say it right now. But there are so many little moments on this album that I love. And I think that's what makes it for me. Like the fadeaway scream in Deep Fake. Probably my favorite moment on the entire album.
That is also my favorite moment on the album. I will give props to that.
Spit the Bone, the Don't Forget to Spit Bleh. I love that as well. Some of the lyricism in doom scrolling. I don't know. I just like the word doom scrolling.
I had
it is a fire ass track.
Yeah,
man.
I had really high expectations for doom scrolling, and I think it's probably one of my least favorite songs on the album. Unfortunately,
that is one that kind of stood out to me lyrically more so than any of the others. I will say we're having the same favorite moments here. It's just our overall perception is a little, just a little bit different, I'd say.
And then I thought what was really interesting is Be Very Afraid, because normally with Architects, you get like a more somber, emotional. I guess it's still emotional, but more a slower track usually as the closer. Like I can think of the last 3 albums, just like Memento Mori, Dying Is Absolutely Safe, and A Wasted Hymn. All very slower tracks. So I think that's what I was expecting with Be Very Afraid. And then you just get like I think it's the heaviest song on the album, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say.
I think we even get like some like deathcore-esque growls in it as well. So
like in the back, I think there's a couple of them. Which it sounds crazy for me to say it, but Be Very Afraid might be my favorite track on the album. Given that I generally have not been a fan of like Holy Hell era Architects, which was like when they were heavy, and Be Very Afraid is the heaviest song on here. I think there's like a bit of a disconnect between those two eras and the song, but like something about Be Very Afraid just fucking rips to me. That song just goes so fucking hard. The delivery on We're Suffering the Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit, and then the riff kicks in, and then it's like you push me to the fucking limit, and it's like it just pumps me up. God. I almost want to say it's like my favorite closing track of the month, which feels a little criminal to say next to Promise You by We Came as Romans and that Heartbreaker. But I mean, they're just two entirely different closing tracks.
I've been highlighting like closers of all the albums. Like I highlighted Inertia, Homebound, and Promise You. So
Be Very Afraid is like when I got to Be Very Afraid, that was the moment that I was like, this is a good album to oh shit, I might have to reconsider some things now.
I just think Derek is being too harsh.
I think Derek is entitled to his opinion.
My problem is that because I liked For Those That Wish to Exist so much, and it broke that cycle of me not liking a single Architects song, I was very hopeful that moving forward, Architects were going to be like on their redemption arc for me. And so then I get this, and it's not only like back to me not liking Architects, but it's me really not liking Architects. So I'm kind of predisposed is the word I'm looking for. I'm predisposed to being even harsher on it than maybe I actually am, just by virtue of the fact that I wanted it to be so much different moving forward, and it's not.
And then there's me, who liked a singular Doomsday off of Holy Hell, and then half of For Those That Wish to Exist, and now I have 11 for 11 on this album.
You have 11 for 11?
I like every single song on here, yeah.
Whoa.
Write that down. Write that down.
That could have just threw me off.
Do I think there's some that are underwhelming? Yeah. I think Doom Scrolling and Born Again Pessimist are underwhelming. I think Burn Down My House.
I was going to say I love Born Again Pessimist because I love the line, God bless my big empty heart.
Yeah, that's a good moment, but it just hasn't really left me. Burn Down My House feels like it just goes on. It just runs on for way too long.
That's one of the forgettable.
This album runs on for way too long. Sorry, involuntary.
Which it sucks for me. Actually, let me get it out of the way first while I'm kind of on the negative train. Tear Gas is my least favorite single now. I'm on the train of Tear Gas is not a great song. I overrated it when it first came out. My opinion has very much changed on it. It's just okay. But like this album goes from Deep Fake being fine to Tear Gas being okay, Spit the Bone to being good, to Burn Down My House being okay, Living Is Killing Us and When We Were Young being two of my top 3 favorite songs on here, and then Doom Scrolling and Born Again Pessimist being like meh. And it's just like, I wish this album could just be like consistent for a moment. And like I wish I didn't have to like go from like a song I really enjoyed to a song that left me underwhelmed, to where I could go more than 3 minutes of just enjoying something, you know? For as much as I do like this album, and as much as this is my favorite Architects album, it feels, I want to say there's missed potential, because some of the songs really do click for me. And then other ones are just kind of there.
I feel like it's similar in like terms to Garden for myself, where I like single songs. I don't like the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's more like a singles album for me. It also doesn't feel like very cohesive.
I think it feels pretty cohesive. I feel like it kind of follows like a similar-ish. I keep in mind, I did not listen to For Those That Wish to Exist in full, like very much at all. But I feel like lyrically, this is touching on like the downfall of society in a similar way.
I would think so.
So I kind of picked up on those notes throughout the album, very loosely. I can't pick out like the story as it progresses from song to song. Very loosely, I get the theme of the album and it works enough for me. I think the only other thing I haven't mentioned is A New Moral Low Ground, which was the final single released prior to the album. Released as a single in the month of October, so we didn't get to talk about it individually. But that song went from my least favorite single to my second favorite single in the matter of a week, basically. I went from on first listen, I was like, I don't really like this, to, I don't know, the more I listened to it, the more that guitar solo that just kind of blew me away. Like, I didn't love it at first, but now I love that guitar solo. And then it reminds me a lot of Black Lungs and the wordiness of the chorus, and how I didn't love Black Lungs at first, but I grew to love Black Lungs in a similar way. A New Moral Low Ground is a very wordy song that I have grown to love again.
It is very similar to Black Lungs.
Yeah, I think a lot of this album left the biggest impact on me. I think, or it left more of an impact on me simply because the final 3 songs are all really solid. Whereas with Sleeping with Sirens, the last 3 are meh. The singles are my favorites. We Came as Romans, the ending, Promise You was a heartbreaker, but the songs didn't speak to me too much. Nothing more. The closure of that album was released as a single months ago. Architects being the one major album this month to give me back-to-back-to-back songs that I really enjoyed to close it, left a mark on me in a month that otherwise I was leaving most albums more underwhelmed.
Yeah, I think the last thought for me is I think this is kind of like in the same vein as I Prevail for me, where it's just okay. It probably won't be something I come back to like for end of year recaps, but yeah.